أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah jameen. Thank you for joining us for this 17th session of our living Islam through struggling with self. Yesterday, we started the discussion on Aql. Inshallah, I will try to end this thing. There are many hadiths, but just a few things I wanted to mention, especially because somebody asked a question yesterday, which was a relevant question, that what is the definition of ignorance? What is meant by ignorance? So, of course, sometimes we come to know through opposite. For example, we realize what is light or darkness when light is not there. In the same way, for example, when intelligence, when aql is not there, that brings about jahl. Because Sheikh al-Kulaini, subhanallah, in his book Al-Kafi, the first book is about Kitabul Aql wa Jahl, the book of intelligence and ignorance or foolishness, whatever you want to like. So this is it that now we'll look at that ayah, that hadith. So in fact, Imam was asked this question. Imam, fortunately, the sixth Imam was asked this question, and he was Qultu lahu mal aqlu. Abu Abdullah says that this person says, I asked him, what is intelligence? Qala ma ubida bihir rahman or tuksiba bihil jinan, right? So in fact, he said interesting thing, that aql is that something which is now that you can Rahman, Allah is worshipped with, or tusbil janan, and try to struggle to earn, to attain paradise, right? Qultu, and I said, فَالَّذِي كَانَ فِي Muawiyah. Now Muawiyah was known to be very, person who was known to use all the kind of means to achieve things. Shrewd, but at the same time in a very negative way, was cunning, this person, almost like a fox. So he says, فَالَّذِي كَانَ فِي Muawiyah. So then I said, what about what Muawiyah had? Because he was trying to use intelligence in a way that, to harm, just to achieve his own goals. قَالَ تِلْكَ نَكَرَى تِلْكَ شَيْطَنَا وَهِيَ شَبِيهٌ بِالْعَقْلِ لَسْتُ الْعَقْلِ. Subhanallah, Imam said quite a bit. He said, yes. So when I asked him, what about what Muawiyah had, right? He said, this is a vicious thing. Tilka nukara, tilka shaitana. And that is delivery. That means it's shaitani, it's satanic, no? And then he says, وَهِيَ شَبِيهَةٌ بِالْعَقْلِ. It resembles, it is something similar to aql. لَيْسَ بِالْعَقْلِ. But you should know that that is not intelligence. So it's a quite interesting hadith that as far as Islam is concerned, as far as the hadith of this Imam is concerned, that yes, aql is, we have intelligence, but keep in mind, it is intelligence that we try to use our mind, our efforts, our intelligence in order to, first of all, ubida bil Rahman, that to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the question which a sister asked, and we'll continue discussing about, that what should mindset of, what mindsets we should have when we, for example, face Laylatul Qadr, right? So again, that efforts is there to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best way. That if Allah were there, if we were to, for example, communicate with Allah through WhatsApp or anything, then we would ask that, do you approve my ibadat, right? So ma ubida bil Rahman, that the way most beneficent is worship. Waqtusiba bil jinan. And you try to attain, jinan actually is Jannah, right? Paradise. So you try to achieve that way to paradise. And then also this person clarified it, that what about others who have, for example, they use their intelligence. And this is not only Muawiyah. Even today, for example, look at what the world is going through, right? That we saw that there is a war against Ukraine. Of course, a bigger power, which is a neighbor of Ukraine, has attacked Ukraine. And of course, it's not appropriate. They just cannot do that, right? But the whole world has tried to talk about the evil of that war. What wrong one country has done against other country. But the similar things are taking place in other places in the world. But because it's done by their allies, by somebody who's their friend, they don't mention about it. So you can see that how human being uses his own akal for the personal reasons. That no, they don't ask this, that would Allah approve this thing the way I'm. Same thing, for example, that no, if you see that no, the logic which one country uses to attack the other country, that because this is my neighboring country, I don't want to be threatened, so I will not allow foreigners in this country. In the same way, for example, you find other Muslim countries being attacked by somebody who's an ally of the West, and they don't say anything. And see how the worshippers in Al-Aqsa Masjid are being treated. They just go for namaz, nothing else. And they're being attacked while there. Women are being attacked, children are being attacked, right? And we don't see this, just one statement here and there. But we don't find, for example, suddenly there's a sanction against people who are doing this thing. So this is it, that this is what Muawiyah was doing. Muawiyah was known to be very cunning, very cunning. In fact, his own advisor, forgetting his name, his own advisor, even asked, he when he realized that he was dying, he had a lot of wealth, right? And then he said that I've got so much wealth. Now, who's ready to take this wealth with all the evil? Because this was earned through deception, through misuse of the power, right? So he announced this thing. And of course, people realized, because he himself was a companion of the Prophet, Abdullah ibn As, right? He said that I'm ready to give up all my wealth, which was thousands of dinar and golden coins and everything, provided the one who takes this thing is going to also, Amr ibn As, thank you, yeah. So Amr ibn As is the one who said that, no, I'm ready to give up all my wealth, right? Provided the evil things attached to it, also people take. So nobody was ready to do that. But when Muawiyah came to know that this is his offer, he said, yes, I'll do that. Send me all the wealth to me and I will take the evil. In other words, either he did not believe in Jannat and Jahannam, or he just had that kind of satanic mindset whereby he thought that no, he can get away with that. No. So he said, yes, you give me and I'll do that. So of course, keep in mind that Imam has clarified what akal is. So all the efforts which we put in trying to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and struggle to attain paradise. Of course, paradise, that means Allah will approve of it, will go to paradise. If this are done in our intelligence, we put efforts into it, that is why I always say, for example, when Quran says, وَأَقِيمُ الصَّلَاةِ, and establish prayers. Establish prayers is not only that you say your prayers, no. If you are a father or a mother or an elder in your family, then you establish the practice of prayers in your home. You see, that establishing. Or for example, let's say you have a business, or you are a manager in a company in downtown, right? Your business. So when the time comes for Zuhr, not only that you say your prayers, but you announce in your neighborhood, in that area, that I have an office or I'm a manager in this company, so I have a certain kind of privilege. So there is a room available for people to say their prayers. So you establish that thing. The practice is that we put efforts in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because worship is a very important thing. In Islam, when salat is wajib, it's not only that we want to do those rituals of standing and ruku and sajda. Symbolically, it's a very great message that we are submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is our creator. And in my worship also, my focus is none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That is why you can see there's always an emphasis that when we say our prayers, our mind and our heart and our self should be there for the sake of Allah. Ma'awida bil Rahman. And then of course, we put all the efforts in trying to earn the paradise, pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I hope that so anything which goes against this thing, that will be jahl. So even, for example, if somebody like as we said, that the countries which are powerful and have got all the kind of technology and science and intelligence, we say, right? They use, but if it's just used to achieve their own goal, to argue things just in their own favor, then that's not the intelligence we are talking about. You know, an intelligent person would first and foremost would always keep good consciousness, because both whether you worship or you attend Jannah, good consciousness is very important. And that's why I remember right at the beginning, we said that when Prophet was asked, which is the best of the actions to be done in month Ramadan, he says, that we just stay away from what haram, al-wara anil haram. Try to stay away. That means you want a higher level of taqwa, this wara to be practiced. So hopefully that this will help. We come to discussion about what question which a sister asked, and of course it's relevant because we'll be having, Laylatul Qadr tomorrow night, beginning tomorrow night, right? And then today is Saturday, Sunday night, and then Tuesday night and Thursday night. So there's a beautiful hadith regarding that what happens on the night of Qadr when Allah says, for example, the Salamun hi hatta matla al-fajr, means till morning you find that there is there is the salam, there is tranquility, peace till the break of the dawn. So the angels come down and then they get spread, right? Jibreel comes with thousands of angels. They come down and they just spread out just to see how believers are spending their night of Qadr. And as they are praying, as they are crying, as they are pleading to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as they are seeking forgiveness, the angels are just there to record and be with us, right? But it says that a time comes as the dawn comes. Jibreel announces, "O group of angels, it is time to depart now. The night is over, now let's depart." They say, "O Jibreel, how has Allah responded to the supplications of the believers in the Ummah of Muhammad," right? Because Jibreel would know, he is the chief of all. He says, how has Allah responded? And he said, Allah has looked upon them in this night and has forgiven them all, except 4 kinds of people. So I think I'm bringing this hadith because it will help us to have that mindset. So which are these? These are the people, persistent users of alcohol, people who don't only consume alcohol, but it is persistent. Remember I told you that the practice in Turkey, somebody told me that it is a culture to drink there. Even in the month of Ramadan, after they open their fast, they have to drink, you can imagine. So this is persistent people drink. And one who has incurred displeasure of his parents. I mean, if anybody has reached that stage, for example, that your parents are not happy with you, the question is not that you are right and they are wrong. If there is a displeasure, try to earn their pleasure, right? And the one who has severe relation with kith and kin. Now, sometimes we always say, as English, they say that the familiarity breeds contempt, because you live with your family members, you live with your cousins, you live with your uncles, sometimes with your own family, right? And there's disagreement, and then you decide to cut off totally. So anybody who has severed the relations of kith and kin, that means the blood relation, right? And the one whose heart is filled with rancor, ill feelings, bitterness, and bitter hatred, right? So these things, some things may also apply to us. So we live with people, especially when you work in the community, you come across people whose approach to certain things is different and yours is different. And because of that, there is a friction, right? And then we say, I'm not going to forget or forgive. No, this is the night. Maybe he or she has not forgiven me. That's fine. But I am, because he or she is a believer, I work with him or I live with him, right? Or is part of my uncle, right? No, I'll say just no, Ya Allah, I am forgiving. So this is it, no? That let us try to have, if you have got any kind of problem with the parents, pick up the phone, whatever WhatsApp, just say that, no, it's the night of Qadr, please forgive me. I know you are my parents, right? And then, of course, kith and kin. This is very difficult because the moment you have that kind of bitterness between your cousins and between your uncles and nieces and all those things, Shaitan would always come in the way to make it so hard that why would you do that? You are right and he is wrong. How can I approach him? How can I show? That's not the case. Allah likes people who are humble, right? There is a saying our elders used to say, which is in Gujarati, but it is same, I think it's the same as Islamic sort of, it is Islamic or what, if you say, kind of, it's similar to some of the hadiths from Islamic idea. They say, Je name khuda ne game, right? The one who's going to be humble will be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a beautiful hadith which says that a person who is humble, Allah will raise him. So this is it, that you take that approach, first approach. And then, of course, let's not have any kind of rancor, ill feelings, grudges against fellow believers on this night of Qadr. When we do that, when we have cleared our mindset and our hearts of all those things, and you sit on that musalla, right? And then start talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all those. So hopefully that will bring about a different kind of approach, as we said. So let me share with you a hadith again on Shab Qadr, Laylatul Qadr. We'll discuss one more hadith tomorrow also. But this is from Imam Baqir Islam. He says, Man ahya Laylatul Qadri غفرت له ذنوبه ولو كانت عدد نجوم السماء ومثاقيل الجبال ومكيال البحار. Right? Subhanallah, Imam says that the person who is going to keep awake on the night of Qadr, and this is automatically, we don't need a hadith because Quran itself says, no, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr, right? That you find that it is salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. It is not only better than 1,000 months, but it is till the dawn, till the dawn breaks, there is nothing but peace and tranquility. So take advantage of that now. And keep in mind, the night of Qadr does not begin when the Amal in the masjid begins. No, this is again the wrong understanding. The Amal can begin at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., depending what the program is. Some, for example, Majlis have some program, what centers have, what lecture first or other du'as first, or no. Night of Qadr begins the moment you see the Azan of Maghrib is given. The moment Azan of Maghrib is given, the night of Qadr started. Okay? Until the Azan of Fajr is given. So between Azan of Maghrib and Azan of Fajr, all that time, right, is night of Qadr. So look at the calendars, the timetable, and at what time is Maghrib starting? Let's say if Maghrib starts at 8 p.m. At what time, for example, is Fajr starting? Say 5 a.m., for example. No. So then you know that between 8 and 5, this is whole Laylatul Qadr. And then, as I said yesterday, take control of that night. It means you decide how you want to spend. Don't let the center or other people decide. You go to the center, of course, when the Amal is being said, those main Amal, at that time be at the center and be together. Why? Because there is also hadith that when people get together to recite a dua or a munajat or do istighfar together or perform the Amal, then when one person in that gathering is sincere, right? And because of that, it benefits others also. So for that particular moment, for that particular, those main Amal, which usually is less than an hour, right? If you just participate in that, that's fine. But besides that, you decide. You want to recite Dua Jashan Kabir, you want to recite Dua Muhammad Samadi, you want to recite just part of that dua, you want to recite, for example, 100 rakat namaz or 50 rakat namaz or 70, whatever you want to do it, right? Try to plan yourself well. So then it is where that you have spent the night well. And of course, as we said yesterday, that prepare yourself. Try to get rid of everything which is outstanding so that at night, suddenly you don't receive a call or a message to say that certain things are needed. So hopefully some of these points will help. We'll also discuss one more or two hadiths tomorrow. And we had a paper some years ago on a website. I'll take it. You can check it on our website under what Ramadan resources. If you go to our website, I had written a paper here. I can see this was which year. I remember when I was in South Africa. Yeah, this is 2009. Yeah, I was in Durban, South Africa. At that time, I had written an article. This is 3 pages. It says, how can one night be better than 1,000 months? You can Google, it's maybe on their website. In this article, at the end, what we have done is that we said do's and don'ts of the night of Qadr. So if I get chance, if I find the Word document, I'll try to put in the slide tomorrow, so you have that thing. But otherwise, you can read that, inshallah. Yes, you are welcome. Today is Saturday, so of course we will allow 10 minutes of questioning, inshallah. Yes, of course, if somebody passes away, your parents or friends or relatives, how do we ask forgiveness from them? Yeah, it's a difficult thing, but still keep in mind that the person who has died, we cannot communicate with them. But they do come to us, especially our parents do come to us, visit us, expecting that what we are doing. So talk to them, right? Talk to them in the sense that, that oh Allah, let this message reach my uncle, or or you can just pray that, I'm talking to this, because they would comprehend, right? If the ruh is allowed to visit, especially parents' ruh is allowed to visit their children, their family. So in the same way that, we can pray for them, ask for forgiveness from them, and be sincere. It is keep in mind that there is a hadith which says a person who does good, birrul walidain, doing good. You can do good to parents while they are living, and also after when they are dead, right? So continue doing things on their behalf. For example, if my father was alive today, what would he have liked? What good deed would he like me to do? He liked charity, for example, or he liked, for example, distribution of certain kind of tabarruk at the masjid, whatever you know about his good habits, for example. You can continue that, right, on behalf of him or of your mother, or for example. Inshallah, hopefully that will help. Because the ruh will know that what you are doing, right? Any other questions? Any other questions? So I'm glad that you can make it. We have changed the time. I can see people are decreasing, but this is the best we can do. But now the time is adjusting itself. Today, and the last time here, although I am here in Kitchener, even then it was 17 plus 22. So maybe Toronto was even earlier. So inshallah, we will be able to. If there are not any more questions, then inshallah, we take your permission. Please, as the nights of Qadr come, make sure that let us pray for each other. Please pray that now we can continue to serve the cause of Islam. Although when I'm preparing for this thing, even I am learning now. So hopefully that now we have been able to share with you something which is useful, inshallah.